Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Fairy Friday. I hope you are well today. Uh-oh. My comments thing is doing the weird gray flashy thing. Oh, maybe it is going to show up. Um, We'll just find out as we go along. Hi there, Margaret Sample coming to you from the beautiful Niagara region of Ontario, Canada. And every week, almost every week, I bring you messages from the fairy kingdom using Brian Froud's beautiful fairy oracle deck. I always like to say, I love your comments. I love your thumbs up and your hearts and your likes and all of that. Just makes me very happy. I don't always see the comments when they're coming in if you're live, but I always look at them afterwards. And oh, there's my window outside, blue sky, sunshine. It's a gorgeous day here today. The other thing I always like to say is if you are seeing this, whether you're seeing it live or whether you're seeing it on replay, it's because there is a message for you today from the fairies. So without further ado, I love that phrase, I am going to shuffle cards and see who's going to come forward with the message today. Ah. I love this guy. We haven't had him for a while. We have had him in the past. This is Taom the poet. Taom the poet. And he is one of the fairy guides and guardians. I'm just trying to find the best place to put this. There we go. And they're the ones who help us to develop our own inner gifts and special talents, things like that, our own inner magic. And they help us with our sense of humor. They help us to live more harmoniously with nature. And they don't like us to get too full of ourselves because they will pop those bubbles of pomposity very quickly. So that's fairy guides and guardians in general. Now, Taom the poet, he is about clear-sightedness, poetry, erotic energy, which is always fun, laughter, and getting into mischief, but not getting into serious mischief. So that's kind of fun. Now, when you look at him, he looks so serious and kind of like, but look closer and you see he's wearing a mask. And so the mask is to just sort of fool with us a little bit, just to fool with us a little bit. He likes to play with us. He likes to set snares and traps to get us to fall into mischief. He is endlessly curious. And that can lead him and us, if we go along, into some strange places. He just really likes to get us trying new things, moving in new directions. And sometimes, good morning, Deb. Oh, they are going to start to show up. Hooray. Sometimes, there we go, he pushes us into places we might not go on our own, and perhaps we would be wiser not to, but oh, sometimes it's fun, right? You can see his wings are tucked in. They're kind of hard to see, like our wings, right? Any people who sometimes have those pains under your shoulder blades, maybe it's your wings trying to sprout out. Maybe you're being too small for yourself. Anyhow, he is still learning how to use his wings properly. Good morning, Anita from Edmonton. It's sort of like, woohoo, who's in the house? And I love this. So he's still learning to use them properly. So he sometimes thinks he can fly better than he can, and he finds himself in another situation. But he tells a limerick and makes his way out of it. He laughs his way out of it. He does want to encourage us to unfold our wings and try, get out there. But sometimes have you ever gone up, been out hiking and gone, oh, I'm gonna go up that hill or that piece of rock, and you get up and you're partway up and you're kind of frozen to the wall and you go, well, what was I thinking? You were probably listening to Om going, okay, this could be fun. So just, be aware. We're still learning how to fly. So it's mischief, but you've got to use common sense too, especially when you've got these little ideas percolating in your head. Go, let's go, let's go. And Taom is also the one who will get children, help them get into mischief. So he loves children because children are willing to try pretty much anything, right? Oh, sure, let's try that. Let's do that. I mean, the crazy things we did when we were kids, I'm sure nobody else ever took a piece of grass and touched it to the electric fence. Growing up with cows. Good morning, Avery. Or other things that you could do with electric fences, right? Like kids are crazy, and they'll do these things, cut the earthworm in half to see it crawl off in different directions. They're just willing to be experimental and experiential, and he is encouraging us to do that. He has a very poetic spirit. This the one thing about Taom that he takes seriously is his writing. He's very poetic, and he's able to look with a poet's eyes at things and see the beauty in everything and the truth behind the beauty and the lessons learned, right? So whether it's pain or pleasure, whether it's joy or sorrow, whether it's ease or hardship, Taom can look and see the beauty, and a real poet can just describe things to you, and you see beyond the surface, right? And he does also want you to go, why be so solemn about life? Life is a cavalcade. Old chum. Life is a cabaret, I guess is the song, but I'm hearing it's a cavalcade of fun, of experiences that are there for us. He laughs at us, and he laughs at himself. And you know what? He's the guy at the fairy party who stands up and tells the story and drinks and starts laughing, and his cowslip wine comes out his nose, and everybody laughs at him, and he laughs too, because he just wants everyone to be happy and laugh. He's helping us to find that lightness and joyfulness of spirit. So it's wonderful that he is showing up right now. Now he's also the apprentice shaman who is just starting out on that magical path with the boundless curiosity, as I mentioned, and interest in all things magical and mystical. So perhaps you might be being led to explore a tarot deck, or explore an oracle deck, or fairies. There's a lot of stuff going on. I did say he doesn't always have good sense, right? So you have to kind of remember your own good sense. And he does have a true lust for life. He loves wine, women, and song. And he says he was born on the Blarney Stone. Now, whether he was or not, the Blarney Stone is a stone in Ireland that it is said, if you kiss the Blarney Stone, you will always have a gift for words. And I haven't been to the Blarney Stone yet, but my mom went years ago, and she did the whole thing where you hang upside down and someone holds your legs and you kiss the stone. And so she sometimes says, well, you got some of that gift of the gab, because I guess I'm a chatty person sometimes. So anyway, it's a wonderful gift with words. He loves words. He loves writers, children, and all of the adventurous spirits that are out there. He's a storyteller, and he has the power to inspire others with his words, and coming forward like this, he's pushing you to do the same a little bit. So with him showing up, this is a really good time it's like the energy is changing, right? And it is. Thank goodness the energy is changing. Do you know there are no planets in retrograde right now? Which is amazing after the long time we've had of all these different retrograde planets. So it'll feel lighter. Everything will feel lighter and more flowing. Okay. And with that, it's a great time to be doing exciting things or maybe tackling projects you haven't had the time or the energy for. It's a good time to be doing those things. Get going with them. And you might even want to write about them, but do them first. It's so funny that I just picked up years ago. I wrote a novel, a memoir novel, and I sort of shelved it, and I started working on it just this week. I thought it was a short story, but it actually was reckoning back to that book. So it's like, okay, time to be at that. So I guess he's underlining that for me too. The thing he does, I think I said, he gets serious about his writing. So what do you want to write about? What ideas do you want to investigate and explore? Okay, and if you're not a writer, that's okay. If you were a writer, what would you want to write about? And then you can write that down. Spelling doesn't count. Handwriting doesn't count. It's just for you, unless you decide you want to take it somewhere else. Okay. The other thing when Taom shows up is romance could be in the air. They say, in spring, a young man's fancy turns to thoughts of love, as does a young woman's, as does an older man's, as does an older woman's. It's like spring and the sap starts to run. So you may find time to have more romance in your life. And it could be a new romance if you're looking, or it could be reigniting some fizz in a relationship you're already in. But the energy is there, and he's saying, go for it, go for it, go for it. When he's around, be aware if there's any confusion about what is true. Are there lies around you, or mistruths or misspoken words? Be aware of that and know that it is time, with all of this new energy, it's time for you to speak your truth. So if nothing else, make sure you're speaking your truth and using your good sense. Taom. Yeah. He's saying, go within and see what might be percolating in your brain and in other parts of your body too, he says. So definitely get outside in that sunshine if you can. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, I had declared this month to be Faery February, and it is coming to a close. I think it'll be Magical March. But anyway, Faery February, what I also did was some people had requested special card pulls for themselves. So I do an email one now. I send you a photo of the fairy card that comes forward and the interpretation for you. And that I'll email that's regularly $33.33 Canadian. And for Faery February, it's 25% off, which is $24.99. And if you are interested in getting one of those for yourself or in sending one to a friend, you can email that, or you can order that through my store, my website, www.margaretsample.com. There's my commercial for the day. And it's also a place where if you feel like, I just feel like pulling my own card. I have been trying to post most of the recent Fairy Fridays on there. And somebody said to me, one day I just wanted to get an insight, and I scrolled through and I popped on one, and it was just what I needed to hear. So that is also available to you. And of course, that's no charge. That's on my website on the Fairy Friday page. So please go and check it all out. I've also had questions about the paintings behind me. This one over here was painted years ago by a friend of mine, Gwen Kearns, who had moved up north. And then this one over here is by a young friend of mine, Calliope Gerginis, Callie, and she is an amazing artist. And she will paint. She will come. You can commission them from her too. If you're curious about that, send me a personal message and I'll give you her information. Enjoy the spring. Enjoy the spring energy, And I just heard, and use your words. Use your words. And use your words to tell somebody that you like them or you love them. Because life's too short not to. Okay, I wish you a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you next week. If you can find flowers where you are, do stop and smell those roses. All right, much love to you. Bye-bye for today. Happy Fairy Friday.